Avatar the Last Airbender was a show that to this day still has a passionate and loyal fan base. It was a massive success when it first came out, and got a great second win when it was first brought to Netflix. But will this new live action remake be any good? Or will it end up a failure, torn apart by fans like the failed movie in a
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
kind of moment? Well, I'm worried it will be another failure for a few specific reasons. Netflix does not have a good track record of making animated shows into live action adaptations. Now, I know the development of Avatar was probably started before this, but it wasn't until One Piece that they actually did something right that the majority of fans were happy with. And if they could go back in time to start over, I hope they would, after realizing two things: that you should respect the source material and to make sure the original creator is heavily involved. This brings me to my first worry. They actually did have the original creators involved initially in the first 2 years of development, but then they left to creative differences. Now, this could mean anything. Maybe the original creators lost their touch and had bad ideas for live action because they're just more animated oriented. Or what I think is more likely is that Netflix wanted to make it better for
modern audiences.
and the creators got sick of trying to work with them and get them to make the show how they felt it really should be. Maybe all these rumors and news about story changes and everything is proof that they just didn't want to listen to the original creators, and so they walked away. But it is still a bad sign to me that Netflix just doesn't want to listen to the people who created the original IP and just do their Netflix thing. It usually leads to audiences just not responding kindly or just not watching altogether. My second point is actually all the news from the showrunner and actors themselves, as mentioned in the first point. Saying that they're taking things out like Sozin's comment for allegedly only the first season, making Sokka less sexist, taking away a lot of humor and side stories to make Aang more serious and driven forward by seeing visions that make him want to go to the Northern Water Tribe. All this is bad signs to me that the showrunner and writers just don't understand the original cartoon. Yes, Sozin's comment is a ticking clock, and yes, you don't know how long the entire filming process will take and how your actors will age over time in a year or so, but Sozin's comment is so much more than a ticking clock, and it is important to the story. Aang, more than anything, is a child. He doesn't want to be the Avatar at first. That's why he runs away and gets stuck in the ice to begin with. Even after being free to learning about the current state of the world, Aang is still scared and just wants to be a kid, but is in conflict with himself because he also wants to help right the world because he feels like he caused it. It isn't until learning about Sozin's comment he actually starts to feel the clock start to tick, and it makes him get more serious about mastering all the elements and becoming the Avatar. Him going on his silly side adventures, like riding the different animals, is him still being a kid and wanting to escape from having such important responsibilities. But he eventually learns that he can't run away. All the humor and side stuff that they're talking about all has an actual purpose to this overall story. I don't think there's really any fat that can be removed from the original 3 seasons of the show. It is a tight story. Everything happens to develop characters or push the story along. So if you're going to change it, you need very good reasons, and you have to do it in a very clever and just as good way as the original. And by the way, Sokka is also a child, and his sexism can be argued as one of the main reasons why they found Aang in the first place. Him learning to respect women as warriors is a huge part of his character development. Also, this man gets the love and respect of every woman in this show. He's got some serious pull with the ladies, so clearly he's doing something right. What seems to be one of the excuses for these story changes is that live action plays different than animation, so you have to make some changes. I do mostly agree with this, and that's part of why I just don't think they should have done the live action in the first place. Or at least, I think they really have to put in a lot of work to make it good, and actually they're gonna have to be creative. Stories that are written for an animated show work best as an animated show. It's easier to go from live to animated, but so much harder to go the other way around. And Netflix should know this by now. It will be especially hard with The Last Airbender. The humor art, beauty, even the somber moments of the show was not only good because of the story, but also because of like the voice actors and the animation. The ability to over-exaggerate with wacky faces and animated bodies. The way they could make the bending look very unique and very different, and how all the bodies moved with the different styles. They could make the scene feel just as serious as they could wacky and goofy. The animation could turn on a dime like the mood, but it wasn't forced. It felt natural with the characters and the world they set up. And the same could be said about like the voice acting. It all felt perfectly balanced and in harmony. Just from watching the trailer, you can feel the more seriousness of the characters. And I just don't think they're going to be able to do any kind of like good humor that Avatar is known for and loved by so many fans. Like Sokka being drugged up on cactus juice and becoming a little noodly boy waving at a mushroom cloud, to then be a friend consoling Aang about the loss of Appa. These characters are very animated characters in all aspects, not just the humor. To quickly address the bending from the trailer, the bending looks fine. I don't think it's going to hit the same as, from the animated show. There's just something about realistic fire and air bending effects that just look off to me personally. And I'm not really a huge fan of like that Netflix style or filter that they put over these live action things. I just know that once they get to the Book of Fire, they're gonna have to really step up their animation game to come close to holding a candle to the visuals and the impact from the Zuko and Azula fight. But I don't want to write the show off entirely. The casting does look good, looks more Avatar-like and promising than the M. Night Shyamalan movie, and I will be watching it and reviewing it. But with by the way, we made this change, I hear about the fact that it's live action in general, and most importantly that the original creators walked away, it still has me worried that it won't actually be any good. Well, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Check out my thoughts on the show, when it actually comes out. Bye.